Candid conversations. Well, we have stimulating conversations involving real life people and real life situations. I did not set up my camera. I'm over it. Today is just today.
Today is today. You just have to get this one live.
I wanted to record this, but Daryl is recording it right now, so I should get a copy. So we just go. Listen, it's gonna be a dynamic show today. Again, welcome to Candid Conversations, where we have stimulating conversations involving real life people and real life situations. I am the host with half the most this morning. I'll find the energy somewhere. I'm your boy G.
Right.
Listen, alongside my Chief Perspective Officer. Good morning, Tabby. How you doing today?
Good morning, good morning. And I got your other half, so till yours kick in, I got you.
I'm gonna need it.
All righty. I'm
Thank
here
you
for
so
it.
much. I appreciate it. Listen, it's gonna be a great show today. I'm gonna go ahead and introduce my guest for today, so they can go ahead and intervene and talk with us today. But before we do that, tell everybody where they can listen.
Hey, go ahead and download that app, ATL Talks. You can get us on iHeart. You can get us on Google Play, as well as your Apple stores.
That's
Download
right.
that app right now.
Right. And if you want a visual right now, literally, if you go download the Cluster TV app right now on Roku or your phone, you can see us right now. Like literally, live in the living color. Right now.
And in the smart TV, actually, since you're now with the apps on it, the Google Play, you can do the casting.
Yes, you can cast to your regular TV. So you can do that anyway. So yeah, look at us, join us live. You want to see these pretty people in this studio today? Get on the phone, get on the TV, check it out. Look at everybody. You know what I'm saying? We here for it today. Listen, thank y'all so much for being here. So we're gonna start on my far. Is this my right today? Yeah, I told you I'm losing in my far right. So we got actor extraordinaire, model who thinks he's too short, pretty boy Floyd himself, Kurtis. What's happening?
How you doing? I'm doing very well right now.
You woke this morning? You feeling good?
Yeah,
You with
I'm
us?
excited to be here. This has been great. This is a great experience. My second round.
Your second round.
Right.
I gotta
Yes,
catch you, you know what I'm
sir.
saying? Because
Yes,
you might be
sir.
leaving me soon, so I gotta make sure I catch you.
Yeah, all in good things, you know.
Yes,
in
I think it's
coming
gonna be
things.
great.
Yeah. So let's see what happens.
Okay. Well, thank you for being here this morning.
Thank you.
Then we got another one. Yo Noop himself. What's up? Michael, this is another actor, director, writer, producer, all that good stuff. Good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm negotiable, but I'm here. I'm here. I'm here, man.
We'll take
Get
that.
together, yeah.
I'll take it, bro. I'm glad you guys are here. I know you were skeptical, but I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, I had to pull it through for you.
What? It's the echo. Okay, wait a minute. The echo on my ear. I'm like, what is the echo? Glad you're here, brother.
Thank you for having me.
So, don't you have something coming up soon?
Yeah, I have a couple things I'm working on. Working on a project now for Watch ACTV called The Deception. That's my main focus. And secondly, trying to get my lip together because I bust my lip. So,
Tell America how you bust your lip.
Ooh, right
Tell
off
us.
the back, huh? Okay, so see what had happened was I was riding on the electric scooters, and I kind of zoomed out, and the car had kind of zoomed out and kind of hit me.
They kinda?
Yeah, and they
I
kept
fixed the
going.
echo on my ear.
It was a hit and run situation, but I'm here.
Oh,
Wow.
oh,
Glad you're
we
okay.
glad you here, and you just got you
Tell the
walked away.
story.
You just walked away, right? And you just walked away with one look, and you just walked away with a busted lip.
Yeah.
That's a blessing, brother.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm glad you're here safely and unharmed.
Barely, but we here.
I mean, you know, dang, it could have been worse than the busted lip.
It could have been. That's why.
Because we don't know the speed that everything was happening, you know what I'm
I'm
saying?
not complaining.
Okay.
I was gonna find a bright side and stuff, right? So,
Yeah,
but you know me, I joke about anything.
you do. He'll make a positive out of a good negative.
That's right. That's
Any
what
day.
we're
So I definitely respect that too, because I can't find it. I can't find it. Well, listen, fellas, we are glad you are here. I hope you have told your friends, your family to watch y'all. I feel like we're going to have some dynamic, good conversation this morning that somebody may need to hear. Okay, listen. So you see, everybody woke. See that work? It
Yeah.
works every time. We up. Alright, let's go, y'all. So, again, open space, comfortable space, talk how you feel. This is a place where we are trying to invoke our opinions on things. We're by far not therapists at all.
Please seek professional help.
Please,
If
yes,
needed.
a professional therapist. But we are here to share things that may help you or may give you a little inkling on life, which road you may need to travel or look into to help yourself out in the long run. Because we vocalize mental health here, and we mindfully think about everything that comes out of our mouth.
Candidly.
Candidly, though, because that's what we do. All right, y'all ready?
Yes.
All right, y'all. So I wanted to hit a couple things because this has been a space where people are kind of having these up and down roller coasters with life right now, and not knowing where to turn to people, and not trusting people, and not utilizing their sources. So they kind of trying to handle things on their own. With the help of Jesus, if you're one of them people, you know what I'm saying? But if the Holy Ghost has led you to go get some help, come on, you got to do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? So, my first thing is I wanted to talk about what we didn't get to talk about Wednesday. Faith was one of the things I wanted to speak on today. Because a lot of people say, have faith, not the George Michael version.
That's exactly what
I know that's where you was going. But a lot of people will say, oh, you just have to step out on faith, or you have to try faith. And I'm like, is faith really worth having? Do you have to hit rock bottom before you start believing in faith? I want to know y'all thoughts on faith. Is it even worth having? I'm going to start with this gentleman right here. To my right. Okay, what do you think about faith? Because I know you're a man of the holy. Oh, I feel it.
You still feel it?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's funny. I had this conversation recently about faith.
Okay.
And what birthed it was the scripture of having faith the size of a mustard seed, right?
Yeah.
And that's so small when you think about it, but in actuality, we don't really have. It's hard to have faith because we may know something will happen. We, like, for example, if you are a believer or have religious faith, whatever of that nature, you may know that God or whatever resource that provides for you is going to provide, but that doesn't stop you from worrying about it. So, for example, I know God's going to provide for me. God has never not provided for me, but still my human nature is going to worry about, okay, well, when are you going to do it?
Like, when is it going to happen?
That's not faith.
Right.
Because faith is knowing that I know, and I can walk away from this without thinking about the fact that it's going to happen because I know it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So when you think about faith the size of a mustard seed, and you compare it to your own faith, it's like, do I even have faith? And it's so important to have, regardless of what you have faith in, even if it's having faith in yourself, because doubt is what prevents us from manifesting stuff. So we talk about manifestation all the time, but the key to manifesting things is believing that it's going to happen. And if you're questioning that if it's going to happen or not, do you really believe it? And it's not going to come to you. So I'm battling with my faith daily. I feel like we all do, but the thing is to continue to know. And what I learned in church is that faith comes by hearing and seeing. So that's why it's good to have platforms like this for us to talk about our accomplishments, things that are going on in our lives, because we know if it happens for someone else, then it's possible to happen for me.
Right.
And it keeps building our faith. But faith is very, I feel like I'm talking about, but faith
No,
is
it's
very,
okay.
it's very instrumental, especially now because we are on this road of talking about manifesting stuff, which is true, but there are also levels and keys to us being able to manifest stuff.
Yeah.
So if we're living in fear and doubt, we're not open to manifest the things that we say that we want to manifest, the things that we have access to.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I mean, he said a mouthful, like, literally, like, he hit every thought that I was thinking. CPO, what you think about faith?
I'm gonna have to definitely agree that, it's the doubt that kind of kills the part of the faith that we say. So with the faith, I think it comes down to really a level of trust, right? Because I can say that I have faith, that's really saying that I have trust that something is gonna happen, is gonna go into spot on it. So for me, I take advantage of small things. Like, I have faith and trust that the sun's gonna shine. Whether it's raining or not, I know that the sun is still shining. Somewhere. It's just that it's, covered by clouds.
Right.
But it is still shining because we're still living. If it didn't shine, we'd all be not here. So small things like that I see, right? Because as you touched on, we really get caught up in what, if we can't see it right then, it is where we start to, wonder and doubt it and worry about it. And actually something that I learned a couple of years ago that I thought was so, I was like, okay, the saying is usually, seeing is believing, right? And this person, Wayne Dyer, actually said, no, it's actually believing is seeing. If you believe it, you'll see it. And they actually did this experiment to say, okay, picture something that you would like to see. Like, it was something short, like a beige car. And it was like, watch how many times you'll literally see beige cars. Now the question is, were the beige cars there prior to you literally looking for them? Or now that you're looking for them and you have evidence of them, now it's like, oh, okay, there's a beige car, and you actually kind of end up making a game out of it, right?
Wow.
So that's the level, you know what I'm saying? When you start to build the levels on it, you have faith in some stuff. And I literally had a conversation with a coworker, and I told her, I said, we talk a good game. I said, but we have more faith in what man has done and things of that nature. And for the company that shall remain nameless, I said, we don't think twice that we're going to get up and they're going to be here tomorrow. No one, you don't leave. You don't clock out and thinking, oh my God, they might not be here tomorrow.
Right.
You have that much faith in it. Okay, so what about you? What about, your source and, whatever you call that? You don't have that same level of faith, because everything you take to that altar, you question it up and down, and what is it me? Can I get it? And how it's gonna come, and all of those things that you don't worry about how the company that shall remain nameless is gonna pay your bills and stuff like that. You just have cemented in your head that you trust them enough that you go along. I'm gonna work today, and I trust you to pay me 2 weeks from now.
That's good.
That's funny, the whole analogy about the car, right? Because like literally, like before I buy a car, literally, like I have never seen this car before. Now all of a sudden I'm starting to see them everywhere when they was already currently in existence.
Right.
But I had never really seen them till I bought one.
Never noticed it.
So weird. That is so weird though. Oh my God. Okay.
Can I add to your point though real quick when you said about believing is seeing? One thing that is important to kind of realize is that everything that exists in this room was first a thought. Even us, we were first a thought, because if you look at the scripture, when it says that we're made in the image of God, it's really the imagination of God. So everything that exists is first a thought. So believing is first seeing.
Yep. And we got it tricked around and think we need to see it before we believe it. We could say we're from the show me state.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When everything started, like you said, as a thought, somebody had to literally think of it first, believe that it can happen. And then now it exists. Even something as simple as a table, a cup. There was a thought first, just that.
Yeah.
And now here it is. We take it for granted. Like if somebody tell you a cup never exists again, you're like, yeah, right.
Yeah. Curtis, what you think? I see the 8-man quarter, bro.
I don't know what to say, because they are touching on so much that I can't even fathom to keep my mind on. Because
What is this?
I was raised in the church, Pentecostal, Apostolic, my whole life. PK kid, the whole thing, But faith to me was going to church every, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday,
right.
Choir rehearsal,
right.
Sunday, 2-3
Bible
services
study,
a day. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was that type of aspect, but it wasn't until I moved here that I realized that I had to have faith for myself. Like, I believed in the Spirit. I believed in God and Jesus, and I believed the story. I believed in the book. I believed everything. But until I had my own personal relationship that I had to stand on my own 2 feet and survive for myself, I didn't really know how much faith that, I had or could believe in.
Yeah.
So until that, I believed to see, that whole aspect. I didn't believe that I would be in these type of positions and places and things like that.
You didn't see it for yourself.
I did not see it for myself.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I'm seeing it literally every other day, which is like, okay, so what are you gonna believe now? Like, what who are you really gonna believe in? Because you prayed for it, you asked for it,
and I gave it to you.
And I gave it to you. So don't let this little moment pass you by thinking that oh, I did this, I did that. No, it was given to you. Because you asked for it, and that was because you believed in it. Like, you believed yourself to do those things. And it's like, it's a touchy situation because,
it's an amazing feeling once you
Yeah.
do get those, even when you get little glimpses of it, you're like, whoa,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's on that level.
And this is also important to acknowledge your power in believing, because I think it's harder for us. I'm a Koji kid, so for us born in the church and coming up, it's more difficult when you think about it, because to be completely candid, in my opinion and my belief, the book is not wrong, but how we've been taught it for generations.
Yes, indeed.
And a lot of the what do you call those things?
Analogies?
No, anyway, the things that we believe in, that we believe or have grown accustomed to, are just taught incorrectly. But the book itself is not wrong. So it becomes a little bit more difficult in my experience as a Koji kid, Church of God in Christ, for y'all who don't know, to kind of reprogram my faith and my belief and my knowledge of what I've been given my entire life, because people who are good-hearted and had good intentions only were able to give what they knew.
Yeah.
And then you have to
Based on their
reteach
level
yourself.
of understanding.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it's important, where it's saying you have to lean on, you have to kind of do it for yourself, because no matter what somebody is telling you, we all have the ability within us to discern, okay, yeah, that sounds right, that rings right, and then you kind of take it to another level as opposed to somebody just telling you something.
Right.
And I had one of my bestest friends, she was asking me one time, because we were talking about the Bible and some other books and stuff like that. And one of the things that I had shared was that for me, I've, Torah, Quran, you name some of them, all of them. I have studied from quantum physics to a lot of it. You name it, I have dabbled in. Like, hey, let me see what that's about. Let me see all that that's about, right? And I was telling her that when you expand, and what you touched on with respect to what somebody, like what my grandmother taught me, my mother taught me and stuff, it wasn't wrong based on their level of understanding and where they were in the time and all the information and stuff that was available to them. That was true for them.
Right.
But then now that I'm, at a certain level, what's true for me based on my experiences and what makes sense to me, it's another level. My daughter's gonna be another level. Her, you know what I'm saying? Different generations are supposed to take it, same information, but you just take it and you literally use it in a different way. You know what I'm saying? You evolve with the experiences on it.
Well, G, what's your take on faith? Because I watch you often, and I think you're an amazing man, but sometimes I think you doubt yourself a lot. So, how do you feel about faith?
Let's hear this.
That's wrong.
I'm sorry.
Yes,
Then
you heard it. You heard it.
I'm sorry. What'd you just say to me?
Repeat it, please.
There's the door. No, I'm just playing. No, so, oh my goodness. Okay, at this very moment, I have no belief right now, because I'm just at a space. I'm just gonna be 100% candid, because I'm in a space about life right this moment where I don't care about nothing. I could go get hit by a back truck today and I wouldn't give a shit. It just go, because I've never experienced what I'm experiencing right now in my life before, right? So, I pray about it. Like you said, I know the good book, the whole Kojic, non-denominational, full gospel, all of that. I just, because I wanted to find my space. And do I have a belief? Absolutely. Belief in God, yes, absolutely. That's who sustains me. That's who keeps me going. But at this moment, it's like, yeah, I don't. At the moment, I don't. I honestly don't. I don't have faith in anything right now. I feel like I'm not going to be able to get pulled out of what I'm in right now. I feel like I'm being literally sucked under. And I sat here and my physical presence has examined every possible scenario to try to get me out of it, to see if it worked. And I keep hitting a door that shuts in my face every time, right? So it's like, okay, how much longer can I put up with this? Or do I just say, I surrender, I'm cool. Whatever you do, I can't do nothing but take it and have, just take it. I'm cool. I try not to have the self-doubt. I try not to have the questionable things, but then it goes back to my backstory that takes me to places that bring me up here to my current story. Can I change what happened in the backstory? No, because it didn't already happen. So I have to put that in perspective too. That didn't happen. I have to live for here. I can't live too far out there because that's gonna put me in the future. I can't live too far out there because that's gonna have my mental. We talk about this all the time. But to answer your question, at this very moment, I don't, and I don't want to sound like selfish or like disrespectful to my God because I don't have the faith right now. You know what I'm saying? It's like you can chime in, friend.
But believing in Him and saying that He is your God is your faith of the mustard seed.
God, it's so hard to explain though.
So any story, all of our stories could be hard to explain because it's our own individual thing and our own individual journeys that we have to walk through. So you even believing that ounce and saying that you have to do what you have to do with until I surrender, until whatever you have to do is for me and I'm gonna lay down at your feet. And when you connect and He connects and y'all mingle like this, baby, you wouldn't have nothing to worry about. Okay. So
I think it's the fear factor too, like
the unknown.
The unknown fear factor, like you talked about earlier. We don't know, like you said earlier. We can have all the faith we want, but the unknown, the human flesh is the unknown. You just don't know. Like I could be on the verge of losing everything I own, right?
Well,
That's what I see. Like I can visually see this, right? But something say, hey, just hold on, because it don't come when you want it. It's going to come when I'm ready for you to have it, or you can handle it, what I'm about to give you.
But what if you think of changing the perspective, right? So, for example, since we work out together, you exercise a muscle, it gets bigger. What if you exercise your faith?
Stronger.
If you exercise your faith, what will happen? For example, the saying, fake it till you make it sounds kind of cliche, but I am a person who can speak from my own testimony that I have faked things and spoken things to myself until I begin to believe it.
Well, is it really faking it, though, if you're really trying to speak it to yourself?
That's just the
So
saying.
what you're saying faking it is representing the fact that I don't have it right now, but because I'm going in that direction, part of what he's talking about is, part of making something manifest is actually having the same feelings and stuff as if it's already here
in existence
and not apart from you.
Yeah.
The more you look at stuff as being apart from you and something you have to get, then you keep that space of separation. And as long as you're gonna have that space of separation, that's where doubt lives. Doubt and fear lives in the space between the manifestation and the actual belief in it.
Why are the feelings there is my question.
Because that's the human journey.
Yes, and the journey is unpredictable. Everything goes off of the choices that you make in life. Like you can literally the multiverse. You can choose to decide. Listen, you can choose to decide to go, oh no, I'm not gonna help him out today. All right, cool, I'll help him out tomorrow.
Right.
But that tomorrow has changed your journey or what has happened that was going to coincide with your life that wasn't going to happen yesterday or wasn't going to happen an hour ago. So that blessing or that path that you had chosen to walk down or choose to do has changed what your outcome is going to be.
So let me say this though. So what happened if you're coming up trying to make what you feel are the right choices, right? Like, that, like for me, I'll just use me as an example, I chose,
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I just chose like some stuff I chose to do because I didn't want to feel like I was going on the wrong path, right? So for instance, I would see family members and friends constantly drink.
Okay.
I chose not to drink.
Okay.
Because that's something that I don't indulge in. I don't like the way it makes people change alter egos and all that stuff. I don't like it. So I chose not to drink. I chose not to dabble in drugs because I see how that alters egos and make people have this and killing them. I chose not to indulge in any drinking and drugging. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I chose not to drinking and drugging. Right. So when I was younger, I chose to go out a lot when I was younger, because I like to go to the club and I like to dance and see people dance and have a good time, right? But I had to come back on that because they was killing people. You know what I'm saying? So I had to make the executive decision. Okay, that's fun and all, but my life is more important. I chose the avenue to be a giving person. Excuse me. So it has nothing for me. So I feel like I'm choosing right stuff, right?
Well, it's not
And-
about right though.
For me,
It's still not about right.
okay, for me, because I'm talking about me, I'm not talking about nobody else but me.
I know.
For me, I feel like I was on the right path of like, okay, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do. I feel like I'm reading and corresponding with my God. I feel like I'm at church. I feel like I'm doing the right stuff. But yet, I see people taking shortcuts. And I can't, not that I'm sitting here worried about what's going on, but I am I'm looking out saying, damn, so this person did A, B, and C, and their life is going so much better. Curtis, you can get it out because I know it's coming.
Yes, but because I swear to you, with you saying all that, do you know how many people lives you saved? Just by choosing not to drink and not to smoke and not to do. You are watching people that are choosing to destroy their lives, right? But I'm going to make sure you get home. And I'm going to make sure that you contact who you need to contact. I'm going to make sure that you get an Uber to make sure. And I'm going to make sure that do you know how many people's lives you have saved by choosing not to do the things that you are doing?
Right.
Because you get to see people in their alternate self
Right.
ruin their self.
Right.
And you have to be like, okay, do I have the choice to either not mess with you and watch you ruin yourself or still be a friend to you?
Yeah.
And make sure that you get home to even have an ounce of the life that they have left.
Right.
Right.
I mean, and then comes with that, then I have to deal with the judgment behind that. You know what I'm saying? It's like...
No, you don't,
so,
because
no,
you shouldn't care about
I
what other
shouldn't,
people
but
say
because
when
I
you are
am
doing your thing.
I shouldn't. But again, I'm that person because I'm an only child, so I had a lot of time to myself, right? So at one point, what mattered, it did matter to me what people thought or what people said or how people thought of me. It did matter at once. I don't give a damn now, but it did matter at once. You know what I'm saying? Because when we're trying to shift our way of thinking and mold ourselves to be the people we want to be, it's hard not to include the other thoughts. Get out of people, like you always say, get out of people's heads.
I have a hard problem with that as well.
I want to say, and this is just speaking to the polarity, I believe all things have polarity. So in agreement with what he said, but on the polar end of that, one thing I heard you say out of everything you said was also, I heard a lot of fear. It wasn't, I'm not going to drink because I want better for myself. It was, I'm not going to drink because I fear being in an alternate state. I fear this. And the reason that you see people move forward who are doing those things and seemingly prosper ahead of you is because they were operating in a different headspace. Mm-hmm. Although they may have been doing things that affected them for the negative, they had a different level or a different pattern of faith. Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of times when we say things like our story is written for us and people kind of move that way, there's a piece that I believe is missing for that. Like if you recall those books where you get to pick the ending and you can pick which page you go to, it alters your story. So your decisions alter your story. Even though the book is already written, the decisions that you make and the pages that you choose to go on alter what story you receive.
Right.
So again, what he said is true. You were saving lives, but also you were saving lives operating out of fear. Mm-hmm. And how do you get out of that fear is my question. For the same or for you.
I don't even have an answer, to be honest.
And was that your true desire? Because if you did it just because I don't want...
Oh, it definitely was my desire.
Well,
and I mean... To embark on those things. It was
right.
It was your...
And I agree with that. I'm just saying that based on what he pointed out, being that the approach was not to do it just because maybe I tried and I just didn't like it, right? But if I'm staying away from it because I'm looking at your experience with it and I'm just determined that based on your experience, I'm not going to do that, right? Then my approach and why I'm doing it is a little bit different, which means that I have a different energy based on how I'm making decisions, right? So you made a decision that ended up being good for whatever reason you chose the decision, whether it was out of fear and stuff like that. As he stated, it benefited a whole bunch of other people, including yourself, right? Mm-hmm. Because if you had made different decisions, then you could be in a different space, right? Mm-hmm. As well. So I think the approach to it is, one of the best examples we have for that is I have a cousin that did a server. He was like a private server bartender for this guy. The guy had lots of money. He was like, this guy's really, loaded and all this other stuff. And they were talking about race and money, right? And the guy literally was telling him, like, hey, can I tell you something? Because he was asking him, like, how you make these decisions? You go out and you buy this and, stuff like that. And he said, as a collective people, you guys mostly hang on to stuff for so long. He said, it's interesting that I would have to say that you guys talk about more faith than any other race. Like, cause y'all guys thank Jesus for everything, right? Which is good. He said nothing wrong with that, but so y'all can stomp your toe. Thank you, Jesus, cause I've got my other 4 toes or whatever like that, right? He said, but when it comes to demonstrating that faith and then knowing that whatever you do today, you're still gonna be taken care of. He said, you guys kind of stop short on that, which is why you guys will hold on to, like, let's say if you had a property that, this property, it's not worth what you keep putting in it, but you'll, just hang on to it because you don't think you're going to get anything else, right? But we kind of operate in a different zone. We look at it as, okay, I got that, I'll get something else. This is why, when you talk about the bankruptcies and stuff like that, because we don't have stigma and we don't think about, well, this person going to think this of me when I come about it. It's all about a business decision with us when it comes to money. And we don't move in those type of same circles about the doubt about not getting something because this one didn't work out or this one didn't pan out the way I wanted to do. We on to the next thing. So that's pretty much how I'm looking. I started looking at something and he told me this like 20 years ago.
I mean, it's a different way of thinking. You can break down the racial things because we hold on to the spirit. That's what we was taught. Like even when it comes to therapy, okay. If you having a mental breakdown, just pray about it. It's gonna be okay. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. However, comma.
Yeah. And
I'm gonna need these vessels out here. Like God made these people have brains to go out here and be therapists, so I can go talk to them. I'm gonna go talk to one. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I need to know your thoughts about faith. If you're listening or watching on Cluster TV right now, give me a call. 213-292-7694 is the number if you choose to engage in this conversation on faith. 213-292-7694 is the number. Let me know your thoughts on faith. Is it obtainable? How do you find it? How do you keep it? What do you need to do to make those steps a reality? Listen.
That's the part.
Keep it. Right? A good song I've been listening to a lot. It just makes me cry all the time. But Michael Jackson on the Dangerous album has a song called Keep the Faith, literally. And he talks about trying to keep it and hold on and maintain. Boy, listen. Whew.
That's a whole other topic.
Keeping it, yeah.
Getting it is one thing.
Getting it and keeping it.
Then when you have it and then you in a situation where you got to keep it,
Lord. Yeah, and I feel like that's kind of where I'm at. I think I have it. I ain't completely lost it, but I'm like, can I hold on? How much longer do I have to keep it? Because when you hear people say you want to venture out and do your own business ventures or move to somewhere else or do something you've never done before.
That part.
It's like, okay, I'm familiar with this. You know what I'm saying? Like, now, if I step out here on this space
and do a little
and do something
extra.
different, will it benefit me? Will it hinder me? Will I be in a space where I'm like, this is not comfortable? Because even when I moved here, I was definitely not comfortable. It took me like a couple months to get comfortable because I was ready to go to the house. Like, I'm coming home. I can't do this. This is too big.
How many years later are you?
Yeah, 17 in. But I'm just saying, like, I'm 17 in. But, it was a culture shock because I'm coming from a smaller town. Then when I get on 85, I'm like, Mom, there's like
everybody in
10 lanes on one side of the road. I've never seen this. I'm used to 3 lanes on the freeway, on the interstate. Like, people are flying by me, like, flying. Like, I didn't understand it, but
what happened to spaghetti Junction?
Yeah.
My faith for some odd reason is increased in situations like that versus smaller situations. Like if you told me to invest in the business that I know I'm good at, my faith would be kind of shaky, but I jump up and move to a different state in a city that I don't know nobody in real fast. And just know, and know,
I need protection. I need to feel safe.
And I think that's really what it is. We look for more comfort and security.
Yeah,
and that's where, you know what I'm saying, you start, the thing about it is, it's just no type of guarantee in that mindset. And usually the situation that you're in is less comfortable than the new one that you're considering.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're comfortable, uncomfortable.
Because it can
Uncomfortably
keep
comfortable.
you consistent. It can keep you stagnant right here. Because some people, Like again, if I was to go somewhere new, at least I would know one
One
person.
person.
At least one person.
I didn't know one person when I got here.
But the thing is that one person again keeps you comfortable in the
Yeah.
things that you already done.
Are you
already
familiar with
doing?
it? Yeah.
And is that
But
what you still want?
Is
though?
that what you still want? Because you came to branch out to something different. So try something different. Be around different people that would challenge you to be different instead of going back to the same norm that you were always used to.
I
That's
feel
what the
that.
irony is. We'll tell people, well, if you want to do something different. We don't mind saying that.
But
know
are
what
you
I'm
gonna
saying?
do it? Is
But
the
that's what
question.
really, you know what I'm saying? Are you
Yeah.
gonna do something
Yeah.
different? When, again, on the job for however many years, when you understanding that you know you've outgrown, you know what I'm saying, what you're doing, but like you said, it's comfortable.
Oh, I mean, not even that. Well, yeah, because like most companies, and we'll get on the next topic, but most companies, they know what they're doing. Some of them will pay you enough to be complacent and come, well, I make this and I ain't got to do nothing extra. I'm cool with doing exactly what I'm doing and I ain't got to worry about it. Now, when you get them companies that pay you and then they say, well, I pay you this much, I expect you to do A, B, and C. First of all, you're not going to throw my pay in front of me. Because what I can do to you is throw them 6 figures in your face and ask you why you making them because you don't even know how to do your job. I'm having to do your job for you. So should I be getting them 6 figures or should you be getting what I'm making? Then I become insubordinate and they ready to fire my ass.
Ready. Roll his paper.
Right, you know what I'm saying?
What's that button
So-
on the
And hire somebody at a lower
At a
rate.
lower rate,
Look, and
doing
a
more
lower
work.
level
Yes.
of boisterous.
Yeah, so
Yes.
you know what I'm saying? Like that. Well, that's a whole other story. Because baby, listen.
Label him as pro
Right.
and no, we will not hire
No
him
rehire.
Right.
No hire. No rehire.
Oh my God. Okay, so listen. Faith
Top of
was
the hour.
good. Yes, faith was
Yeah.
a good topic. I love that. You know, I love that. That's wonderful. That was some good stuff y'all were saying. I love all of that. So maybe I'll process that in the memory banks.
Go back and hit replay.
Yeah, go back and watch it on Cluster TV. It's gonna be taped, so I'll go back and watch it.
Oh, I forgot it was something.
So yeah, listen. I want to move on. Top of the hour, as my co-host said, 11, whatever time it is, almost 11 here in Atlanta. But check it out. Do you find it difficult to find love as your true self? Or do you have to put on a facade to find your love and then come into your true self? Tab, did you have to do that before you got married?
Of course, you have to, you know,
Of course.
send
Right.
that representative first to kind of scout out the landscape. You know what I'm saying? I think, especially when you're young, right? Because as you spoke of earlier, we're so busy. Definitely when you're young, you're in other people's headspace, right? Just part of growing up.
Do that now.
Right, but you probably mastered it when you were
Yeah.
young, right? Less often now, but you know, you're kind of, I think initially you really start off being yourself, and then as you're inundated with media and all kinds of other external influences, you start to kind of adjust or whatever like that. And like, I would think when I first started dating, you know, again, coming from the urban area where being thin wasn't necessarily the thing that I thought was in, right? Because I mean, you know, guys looking for the pow, 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 all that stuff, right? And you know, I was just like not having that really early on, right? So, you know, I'm looking at, you know, what's going on and stuff like that. Now that stuff I couldn't change, right? Nothing I could do about that, right? But as I just got to be comfortable with who I was, it was like, okay, well, I can't change. You know, I'm thin, you know, I'm trying to eat more, whatever like that, but it ain't showing up right now. So, you know, this is what I have. And I sent my representative up first to test the waters. And once I tested the waters, I found for me that you just can't sustain that type of, you know, hey, I am who I am. You either like me or you don't like me. And if you don't like me, then I need to like somebody else. So as I was on that journey, my husband of today, though, was like, everything that I like, he like in the sense of, he don't really care if you wear makeup or not, he don't really care you need to have the extensions in your hair, all the stuff that is just not part of, you know, part of my regimen and things that I ended up being really good at to maintain. because it takes a lot for women to put on that face and all that other stuff. Tried it just didn't have any good talent at it and all that other stuff, and then I ain't want to pay for it to be done every day and every other day and all that other stuff. So people know me, I'm more about comfort than anything. I rarely wear heels. I mean, all that other stuff. I'm more like about comfort. And I attracted someone that those were the things that were good for him. Like, okay, I need you to wear that, whatever. And the heels, he probably wouldn't have liked that anyway because he's kind of shorter than I am a little bit. So, but
What?
yeah, my husband was a tad shorter than I am.
I have never seen that. Okay.
Yeah. And and that came with me being comfortable with as I grew and evolved and understood that I am who I am. And same way with him. Okay, actually, he's the shortest guy I ever dated. Right. So, but he couldn't make himself taller.
Oh, you can now.
Right. Well, hey, he still wouldn't be taller.
Right.
I mean,
these leg extensions or something.
Yes, I just saw that
so,
today.
you know what I'm saying, with all that kind of stuff on it. But I think as you start out, you probably are groomed again or influenced not to really take your true self. And then as you get older, you kind of like, especially way older, where people are like, I don't care, and what I'm saying, you wear what I want to wear, it don't matter, and all that other stuff. So.
Hold that thought. Let me go to these youngsters.
Go to him, because I got a lot to
these
say.
These social media cats.
Go to him.
Okay,
I have a lot to say.
Well,
I'll start with you. Go ahead, sir.
I don't think I'm gonna have a lot to say. I'll just say, I will say that. What can I say? Okay, for example, there was a relationship that I was in, and the initial dating phase, the dating phase of getting to know each other. I got to know this person, and then we started to pursue a relationship. And maybe about 4 or 5 months in, everything that was presented to me wasn't true, and I had to start to learn the real you. But the problem with that was, at this point now I've developed feelings. And that whole relationship that I had warnings 4 months in, and it ended up lasting 4.5 years. I'm a Pisces, don't judge me. I ended up learning that experience taught me to always walk into things just being completely me, because I don't want to waste time. I don't want to present something that's not what you're buying, nor do I want to buy something that's not what you're presenting. So I've had to work through that, and I realized in that experience that it's also an insecurity that I have, because sometimes I'm insecure walking into spaces and owning spaces. Even now on this table, I'm trying to intentionally speak slower because I don't like to occupy space so much that I speak fast and try to get off the mic. So
no, you relax here, okay?
But I'm saying, because learning that about myself, and that I have an insecurity with occupying spaces, and then going through that experience where I had fallen for someone who presented something that wasn't authentically them.
Yeah.
It pushed me, kind of forced me into a space where it was a non-negotiable for me to present all pieces of me. Now, I present every aspect, the best part of it. I try to package it up and make it present it right. But I'm going to give you every part of me at the beginning, so you can decide whether you want to buy this package or not, because it's not going to change when you get it.
Okay, so
that part.
But you packaged it up.
I cleaned it up.
The unwrapping of the process is what it is.
No, if you know that if you know it's a turd in front of you, it don't matter if it's a boat on it or not. You still know it's a turd.
Okay.
I'm gonna let you know I got an attitude problem, and I'm gonna tell you nicely. Okay, sometimes I get very frustrated and flustered because I have anxiety, and when it comes out, it can either be me shutting down or I get very rah. I'm gonna let you know that. I'm going to tell you nicely, so you say, okay, well, he's communicating himself. Yes, because I'm a good communicator. But also, if you get me riled up, it's going to be a problem. So do you want to deal with that or not? Because if not, let's go our separate ways now.
I love it.
And we can be friends.
Well, now, how early in the process do you...
Very. I don't like, but it's because of my experience. I don't like wasting my time anymore.
No, I feel it. What you got?
But that's what it is now, especially within our social media world and everything. In high school, and we enjoyed being our full selves around people, and we are literally the last human connection. The 80s and the 90s.
That's
babies.
right.
We are the last human connection of our world and our universe. So showing our true selves it's something that us 80s and 90s and maybe like a 94, 95 would do
Mid-90s.
before social media. But then it goes to like everybody is trying to put on that whole facade. Everybody's trying to put on that whole I'm this and I'm that, but it's only like a click of a picture, you know, instead of being your whole self, which I have problems with dealing with as well. I feel like I'm a weirdo. So when I'm like happy and, you know, giddy or whatever, most people can't contain the fact that I'm excited about things or I want to try and venture out to do, you know, other things or whatever. But that's still like pieces of the packaging that you have, you know, for yourself. But I would rather, because 3 to 4 months, you know, most people here in our bases or things, if y'all hunch one time, baby, I own you. Like we are together. And if not, then I don't see you no more after this type of situation. So I don't know how to speak, you know, marriage terms is a whole nother thing as far as the ladies and you know, and the other gay communities, the lesbians, whatever, because I have family that is, you know, gay as well, and they get 2 weeks and they like marriage. We have a house, a dog, a baby, let's raise a child, let's do the things, but then you don't really know someone. How do you do that? Because y'all fire is so intense at the moment, and you're not letting it die down to see who they really are as a person. And that goes for us too. We might be like 6 months in or a year in, you know, to a situation.
Put time in it though, because then you have people that been years, and then next thing you know,
but
it's
still
like,
don't know who they are. Right. Exactly. So
that's what I'm saying. Like people who rush into marriage, or even people who've been community married, what they call it, common law married. They've been together for X amount of years, and you still don't know everything about this person. So when I'm sitting here, like when I'm thumbing through media, because I have to in order to promote this show or whatever, right? And I'm sitting
that's
here.
your reason.
Well, and then to keep my mom informed, because and then some friends at home. I'm not in the media like that. I swear I'm not. I may be on there and I may hit a double tap, but when I'm looking at it, it's just like I'm like I would love to know the backstory of half of the stuff that's being posted, because it's like I'm so sick of seeing. Let's just go there. I'm so sick of seeing the good side of everybody's story. But when I post, you're getting all sides of me. I'm giving you when I'm having a down moment, I'm having an excited moment, I have got an accomplishment I want to share. I'm going to try to give you all balances of it. But when all I see is half-naked people showcasing their best body part, or they thirst trapping, or whatever makes you feel good to make yourself aroused, or whatever the hell. What else you got going on?
Well,
because it's like you selling that part of you.
That's what marketing does.
It's marketing. You're selling this part of you. Okay, so what is your brain functionality come with? Like what else do you got besides an ass or something showing?
It's called buyer beware.
Child.
That's the term in marketing. It's called buyer beware. When I sell you the pill that can, you know, save your life, and then I put in the teeny tiny
the side effects, we get it.
Kill you.
But here's the thing though, like I get that and I get it. It's like it's the attention seeking for me.
Is.
And that lets me know right then that you have a backstory, that you haven't dealt with some unresolved issues.
See, I think when you add social media to it, it's a completely different level. Because if you follow my social media and try to put my story together, you could be good and confused. Okay? Because my friend may be having something going on, and I may see a meme that relates to something that happened. I may repost it, then you go be confused. You go wonder why I'm playing Karen Clark Sheard, then Meek Mill, then Britney Spears all at the same time. You go wonder why I got Bible verses and tarot cards. You go be confused. Okay, don't try to put my story together from my social media. I know that's the nature of the time we're in now.
That's where you at, though.
And unfortunately, we have to abide to that. However, period. Just however, don't do it, because you're not gonna. It's very unfair to think that you can. Not unfair to us, but unfair to the person who's putting out whatever. To think that you can kind of grasp their story or know who they are based off of what they present.
And how it may be unfair, but that's what you're selling.
Well,
so if I'm a stranger that's not knowing you, hear me. If I'm a stranger that followed you, maybe I saw a body of your work, right? I saw some of y'all gigs, right? And I'm sitting here like, oh, okay. I want to see what this person is like. You know, I love their acting. I love whatever. I'm gonna hit this follow button and see what they got going on. And it's like, damn, you selling that every other story? Like, okay, yes, judgment is going to happen because that's what your ass is putting out there. That's what you have put out there for the world to see. So don't get mad when you get judged or you out here doing something, you reading them comments, and then you get mad, you want a rebuttal. But that's what you put out there to the world. You put that out there.
And what you translated it to are two different
But you
things.
put it out there,
I
though.
still
And
put it out
if it's
there,
basically,
but
you
your
put that out there. You made
translation and interpretation of
You
it.
made the executive decision to
did,
hit the
and
button to
I-
upload that shit on there, and you did that.
And your translation and
So
interpretation.
if you haven't given me a clear spectrum of it, guess
It
what you're
doesn't-
going to be judged on?
regardless, you're still gonna come up with your own translation. Mother Teresa, Jesus can put something on post, and people
If he do, boy,
will.
listen.
People will, because if you look at the time that Jesus was in, it was a
He ain't
minority.
left. He's still here.
Well, I mean, as far as physically that we have
Yeah.
associated the time period, right? It was the minority of people that literally went for him based on what he was saying. He was the event that, on the cross and all that was because the majority, the people that were running everything, were saying that it was blasphemous and some stuff like that. It was against the laws and stuff like that. Their translation of what his message was totally off. We know that now, right? So in the midst of it, it's still gonna be based on, you can put this one thing out, I'll get something out of it, he'll get something out of it.
Oh, everybody's gonna have their
So that's what I'm
own thing.
saying. So with that being said, it really doesn't matter what I put out, because if I have 100 followers, I can get 100 different interpretations on why I did it, what I did.
And that's
and all
fine,
that
but I'm
stuff.
saying, as the person, and you can say what you have to say, as the person, if I'm putting it out, as the person putting it out there, right, I should be prepared for what's finna happen.
Oh yeah, you gotta be.
So if I'm sitting here like, okay, well, here it is. Here's another dick pic, print, whatever I decide to put out.
Right.
Here it is. Now I'm gonna have to be ready for what's gonna happen behind that. I don't care if it is 15,000 more people. It could be like, oh my God, you're disgusting. Oh my God, I love that. Oh my God, can you put another one out next week? That's when I'm gonna have to be ready to receive that.
Gotta be.
And some people's, this is why I feel like a lot of people, if we're looking at celebrities and stuff, and you see the ones that kick back and say stuff, they're not mentally ready to handle it. Some people who are mentally, like when you see these successful people up here and they throwing these negative comments out of these people, the ones who don't respond, they have the mind for it. Yeah, okay, it's done. What I'm saying something for, I don't know these people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So why am I rebuttaling to it? You know what I'm saying? But go ahead,
Look,
KG.
you almost made me forget.
Don't forget your
I
thought.
swear.
Go ahead.
Just going back to what you were saying, and it's mostly as, I don't want to get in.
Yeah,
really deep
please.
in us as black people, right?
Yeah,
Us
say it.
as a community, right? You would post, you done been through this, you done, dealt with this issue and this issue and this issue or whatever, which is your real self, which is your authentic self, right? Most of us people
Well, look at it as a negative.
and yes,
Sir.
and they'd be like, oh my gosh, he is always going through something. And that goes even if like someone is attracted to you. Oh, why would I want to, deal with him? He always going through some crazy stuff. But you don't know the things that you have. You can have the big house. You can have the car that's always getting broke into. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like you can't get it back. It's not like you can't have it. I have it, but unfortunate events keep happening. Instead of judging it as a negative, be like, hey, yo, I got this source and this source that'll help you out to do this. I got this way and this, here's this so-and-so number for you to do this.
Call
or
this
whatever
number to get that repaired.
to get something done. Help out instead of seeing it as a negative to where, oh, you always going through something, so let's not even talk to you. No. Reach out. Most people don't reach out
because
because
the communication level is
yes,
like,
and everybody is attracted to seeing the body and the face and
That's
the
it.
print, and the sex is just everywhere. But if you put that aside, what do people really have?
nothing, because
Exactly.
they obviously don't have any brain.
Which, I think those just aren't the people for you. Like, for example, now I don't care about, and I say I don't care when I really do care, but that's about my faith because I'm going to not, because I'm working myself into not caring more. You see what I'm saying?
Right,
so for
right.
me, so
I agree. I agree. I'm with you on your boat. Yeah.
I don't care what you think about certain things because I'm a layered person. And if one of those layers offends you in a way, then respectfully, you're not the person that's meant for me. And then and you can respectfully follow or unfollow. There are billions of people in this world. We can find our tribe within the billions of people in this world. What's for you is for you, right? For example, even the print that we had this conversation before. With me trying to work on being more confident, I had like a video on Instagram or something where I was trying to like take my shirt off because we work out together. I'm trying to get more confident with my body. People say nothing's wrong with it. I don't like it. But I'm like, okay, I'm doing my little post, take my shirt off. All the comments, oh, I see you got your print out. I'm not even focusing on that because I'm trying to have the confidence to take my shirt off in the video.
Speak again.
So perception is everything. So if people happen to say, oh, he thirst trapping, if that's your perception, go ahead, think that, and then go on. Either you can follow because you want to see that, or you don't. But
And that's what I'm saying.
I can't live in that.
That's what I'm saying. You like you said, out of your 20,000 K, 50 of them like, oh, I see that. But then you have the other ones like, oh, okay, I see you. Okay, you trying to walk into your confidence or whatever. You got those people.
With a whole
but what I'm saying is, here's what I'm saying. That's fine that you want to do that because it's your media and you know what you want to do. What I'm saying is you have to be prepared that everybody's not going to be able to. It's not fair, like you said, it's not fair for them to judge you because they don't know all of your layers. But we're only getting what you're showing us as layered. So you can't be upset if 30 of them 1,000 people looking at your print, the other 20 is like, oh, he's trying to step in his confidence. You got to be prepared for what's coming. You know what I'm saying? You got to be prepared to be like, okay, well, I might get this positive stuff, or people who really got what I was trying to do, I'm going to have this set of a-holes. They're going to be like focusing on the wrong thing. So you got to be mentally prepared for that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Which is why I think we're in a season where we haven't hit it where we want to hit yet.
Yeah.
Because we have to be mentally prepared for what's going to come when you hit your first level of superstardom.
Yeah.
You got to be prepared for that. Am I going to engage in this negativity, or I'm just going to, the goal is I'm trying to succeed for myself. I'm trying to succeed for my family. I'm trying to make sure my finances is stable. I'm trying to make sure I'm good. I don't care what nobody is. You got to be mindful of that because we are still in a space where I always say this, you know I'm not lying. We are in a space where people control people.
Yes.
People control you literally. People will
Yes.
control your narrative. And you all in their brain. Get the hell out of their head. You can't change nothing. I cannot worry about what she is thinking. I can't worry about what you're thinking.
Yeah.
I can't worry about what you're thinking. I have social anxiety. I used to be worried about what everybody was thinking when I walked in the room.
Impact.
And I ain't nowhere near empath, but I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, if I walk in this room, they gonna think,
You done told
who's
50
the
stories.
right?
To
I done told 50
yourself.
stories to myself.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the black ugly nigga. Now I'm going back to when I was in high school because this is what I was told, and I'm a grown ass man now.
No, these people from
So if I walk in the room and
Campaign.
Curtis make contact with me, I'm thinking he thinking something negative. That could be not even the right thing. I'm in that man's head before I even met him.
Yeah. You reading the energy that ain't even
It ain't even there.
yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. I think people haven't reached their levels because we haven't worked out that kind of thing.
Well, and I think it's an ongoing journey. Even before
saying.
social media, I've
Goodness.
shared with you one of the best interviews I heard Dr. King talk about.
Yeah.
When they were saying to him, hey, your own people are against you with what you're doing in some instances and stuff like that. And I literally had to pause and say, okay, wait a minute. Wait a minute. You got people against, fighting for your rights and all that other stuff, but they were, you know what I'm saying? And what he essentially said was, I have to focus on what I know is right.
Exactly.
And that I'm doing what I'm called to do. I can't be
Exactly.
worried about that. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
They got to do what they have to do, but I have to stay focused on what I'm
I
doing.
have to do.
You know what I'm saying? Now, just imagine if you worry about what people would say.
Yeah,
You know
that's what I'm saying.
What would that have done to the movement?
Right. Just think about it for a second. Just literally think
I
about
understand, 'cause
it.
that-
Y'all are some. Listen, if you haven't seen their work, please go and watch their work. Talented, beautiful actors, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like it's there. It's no question that it's there, right? But I know sometimes, and even in our past conversation, even in our sidebar conversation, you maybe like even when I started acting, like you said, I'm heavy on myself because I'm like, okay, I don't fit the norm of actor that normally get cast, right? I don't normally get that role. This is no shade, y'all. They will be the ones to get the role before I get a major role. And when I got a role, especially somebody that it is what it is. It's just what it is. It's just what it is. No shade to you.
It's okay.
It's just what it is. It's a Candid show.
Listen.
They would normally cancel the more visually appealing person, and that's fine. I'm cool with that. I would never look at myself in the lead role because I wouldn't get cast for that. So when I used to go on these castings, it was like, yeah, I don't want to go there because I already know they the number one. It's like a job. They done made up in their mind who they gonna cast, and it's that kind of thing. So I don't go to castings no more. You know what I'm saying? Because of that. Now I shouldn't be thinking like that.
No.
I should literally be out there going and do casting.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Really wanna,
if I
yes.
really want to get myself out there, but I have to deal with my backstory, getting myself out of it. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's probably why I haven't gotten the level of following and stuff like that because of my own self-esteem issues. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to work
And that's
out.
powerful, though.
It's
because
real.
You're accepting your role in it, and not in a
Yeah.
blame type of scenario, but I think that's where the sweet spot is for us to live in the fact that we attract. I read somewhere it said you get what you think about, whether you like it or not.
True, but I
When
agree.
you look at, when you survey your life, is your life a representation of what you think about or what you say you want? You know what I'm
That's
saying?
what
Because I
I'm
can say
telling
I want, so I want to be successful, but then I think about it can't happen for me,
Right.
and all that other stuff. But I mean, she repeated it. She said, just listen.
Yeah.
You get what you think about, like it or not.
It is true. The power is, and you can manifest it in the tongue and in the thought process.
There's actually
That's
science
that's
to
the
it also.
creation.
Yeah.
That's
It's
the
science
physics
also.
of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what I hear throughout all these conversations is still the topic of faith. It's believing
there.
and believing
Yeah.
in yourself. And even now, like my thought process might change on this, but I was having a conversation with my marketing manager, shout out Bakari Kamal, and he was telling me, he was like, Mikel, you gotta niche down on your social media because sometimes you be online praying, and sometimes you be joking, and then sometimes you talking about the word, and sometimes you talking about rap, and then sometimes you doing psychic readings. This is me.
But that's
That's
your
all it
layer.
This is me.
Yeah,
And I can respect that though.
And what I'm walking on now is the people who are gravitating towards me for me. If you see something that you don't agree with,
You don't have to
happily
subscribe to
unfollow.
it.
Don't
Yep.
subscribe to it. But I'm in a space now where I have to own every part of me and kind of believe in myself.
And see, I
Because if
respect
it doesn't work, I'd rather it not work with me believing in myself than me trying to manufacture something and then it still doesn't work. I believe authenticity always sells over anything else.
Yeah,
So although I do have to still be aware of people's perception of things, my preparation, as you said, me being prepared is this. I don't care.
And that's how you should be.
Even though I do care a little bit.
What I'm saying.
Right.
You
You
don't
don't
listen.
care. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But
You
what
don't-
you're saying, you don't let it override.
You don't let it
Yes.
override your thought process because what we do is we don't really remember all of the positive aspects all the time. We always going straight to the negative. You know what I'm saying? It's like, damn, why does my subconscious remember everything negative that happened? You know what I'm saying? It's like, damn. Even when I casted for the assistant. Shout out to the assistant.
Alex.
Shante.
Yes.
Shante Productions.
Yes, shout out to you. I was
Shout out.
nervous.
I want to be the only one not
But-
shot out.
I was nervous with that because I was a little annoyed. I was like, you. Have you seen any other? This is me saying in my head. Have you seen any other productions I've been in? You viewed, but my facial expression sold it, and that's good enough for me. You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate him for seeing me for me, and it didn't go to the whole physical thing. He literally, and the cast is beautiful, by the way, but. It was that kind of thing. Everybody that, but it was just the vibe. It was just the vibe of that cast, though. That cast. When I hit the door, that cast was amazing.
I want to interject just a tiny bit. When
I
you say
guess.
that the person, I know, right? Me and my 20 cents.
I guess.
When you say
Christ.
like the person saw you for
Women.
you, the funny thing about it is because I never know what you see, right?
Right.
So I definitely don't know what you think, but I don't know what you see either.
Yeah.
So when you say like, you know, you saw me for me, what I heard was more or less the personality and my attitude toward it, and like you said, an expression. But the visual of you, based on how I measure what I want a visual to look like, could have been everything on my checklist on what I consider to be a leading role, and all those other things.
Right.
So what I see for you and what you see for you, you know what I'm saying, is sometimes a little different, and a lot of times people will see for us more than we see for, you know what I'm saying?
That's exactly,
And the
I've gotten
beauty of
that,
it.
I've gotten that critique a lot.
Especially because I've heard, like,
You even said that to me
people-
the first day you met me.
Yes, and let me tell you something. I get hit up about you, like, is G available? Is G single?
When
And
send
all
me
that
the
type
text
of other
message.
stuff, you know what I'm saying? So
I don't get
I'm
that.
saying that, I mean, but you don't get that because
Liar.
that's how you're filtering
Liar.
The
You're-
lie.
you're
such a liar.
filtering
I don't.
that, and you filter based on how you perceive stuff. So again, going back to the beige car. If I don't have,
Come on, beige car.
because I did this as an experiment. Actually, it was two things I did, and the experiment tells you to start with something small. It was
Yeah.
like, don't be trying to see $1 million because you're not at that level yet, right?
Yeah.
So start with something simple. So I picked a beige car and a yellow butterfly. And it was like, if you're filtering where, again, 1,000 beige cars can be passing you by, but because you're not looking for a beige
You
car,
don't
you
see
would
it.
say, no, I've never seen a beige car before. And it could be one literally parked right next to you, right? So the filtering that we do ends up determining what we see.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's a crazy thing, like when you were saying, like with the manifestation and I've been studying quantum physics as it relates to spirituality. And when I tell you, it's like, yeesh,
Mind blowing.
it's mind blowing. And that's when you kind of learn too that the Bible was based on metaphysics as well. When it talks about the walking on the water and some other stuff like that, it's a little deeper than just looking at the story.
It is. I tell, even with that part, I tell people you can't, because this is usually a separation from science and religion, but you can't separate a creator from his creation. But that aside, because back to you, I want to give something to you with what she's saying, because if I hadn't had friends who kind of told me things repetitively, I wouldn't have started to believe it. Like, I had an issue with my appearance and things of that nature, right? So for you, your thoughts of yourself are kind of overpowering what's actually happening, because your energy is strong and your appearance is strong, right? But what you think of yourself is what people pick up on first.
Isn't that weird, though?
Because you are a very handsome man. You have really good skin, you have really good features, and then there are so many things about yourself
Don't bless me today.
that over, but you need to, because I was in a space where I walked around feeling like, I don't like this, and people had to pour into me until I started believing, well, maybe I'm okay, and then I started seeing stuff. Okay, I can be. I can walk in here confidently. I see. I don't like that part. I
And
don't
they
like
didn't
this part.
get anything out of telling you that.
Right.
Yeah.
They didn't get anything out of, but you need those things.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying, when I said exercise your faith, and when she said start with something, I'm so sorry. When she said start with something small, we know, like, when we go to the gym, you can't go in and go straight to the 45 pounds.
Okay. Right.
You gotta start with something
Ooh,
small.
let me get that 25, sir.
There
So
you go.
find things
Right.
small about yourself. Your consistency in the gym is amazing. You know, I done took
Yeah.
3 breaks in 1 year.
Yeah. I have, and that's seeing again, because I found out just recently talking to my therapist, I'm still dealing with stuff that I have not resolved at this age in my life. And it's so embarrassing, number one, but it's not, because I have to fix it in order to be able to have room to accept other things that may be coming down the line. You know what I'm saying? So if I haven't fixed these things, like, people ask me all the time, why has it been 17 years since you dated? And such. And I'm like, it's because I have to make room to clean myself up first. Because, we promote starting at the house here first. You got to start in here first. If I'm sitting here and I'm not cleaned all the way in here, it's not fair for me to bring another person in and swap all that energy on them. It's not fair.
Thank
So
you.
you don't want to try? You don't want to?
I feel like right now at the space that I'll be, we're human. We have moments of loneliness, and we have moments where we just want
Even
to
when
talk.
you're with somebody.
Even,
What's your?
come on.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I can't, because I don't want to give my negativity and support onto this person when they probably have their own stuff going on. I just rather kind of like fix myself internally. And I'm okay if it doesn't happen. If God doesn't
When
want
it
me by
happens.
myself, I'm cool. I'm okay with it. But if it happens, I'll receive it and take it. But if it doesn't come, I'm not gonna go look for it, because when you go look, you find the wrong shit.
And I'm gonna give you some homework. When you're coming into your age of enlightenment, we're actually in the age of Aquarius. Look that up when you leave the show, and you'll see now you're probably about to shed a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, which I need to because I
So look up the age of Aquarius.
Yeah.
My type of girl.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
So listen, 213-292-7694 is the number if you want to chime in and chime in on what we got to say. That'll be awesome. I did want to ask the question, is it difficult to find love as your true self? Because as you said, there is a lot of packaging going on.
Yeah.
And if you haven't kind of gave me the base layers, then I'm going to look at you like you're crazy. I need to know, what's your favorite color? What type of, do you like roses? Do you like sun-dried tomatoes? Do you like to go out on walks? Do you like to do such and such?
Brother.
Nobody engages in that conversation anymore.
Yeah.
Brother, them questions you asked in 2003, this is 2012.
It wasn't even in the
now
2000s.
you got to ask.
sure
Now you got to ask. You doing your shadow work. What do
Right,
you
right.
believe? What do you think about? You got to ask them questions because it's different out here.
What kind of questions?
You got to ask. Are you doing some shadow work? Or what's your therapist's name?
Oh,
Okay,
that
where it's
part.
going.
That part.
You have to ask because it's different, and then it's kind of almost scary. I don't want to say that because I don't like to live in fear, but it's scary dating now because we live in what I call a swipe right generation. If somebody see one thing they don't like, they think they can
Gone.
swipe right and go to the next thing.
Yep.
They don't feel like they have to work for anything anymore. They don't have to. It's scary dating out here.
It is different.
You got to get straight to it now. And
Yeah.
and if somebody kind of scared to get, if those questions offend them, then the person ain't ready.
Yeah.
They're not ready for it.
Yeah.
whatever
I
they
feel swipe right generation.
Right, right.
You listen.
And this generation is still telling you too. I'm gonna be the latest of the end of it is saying I'm me.
Yeah.
I'm me.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
So what's that call-in number again?
It is 213
213
292
292
76
76
94.
94. Call in.
Call in, talk to me.
Call in and talk to us
Call
on
and
the
talk
side
to
of
me on the
the
set. So listen, I'm gonna shift until we get some calls or whatever. I just want to know, since I have last show I was outnumbered.
He was outnumbered.
I had a lot of women up here,
Yeah, he did.
Ooh,
which is
3
fine.
to 1.
3 to 1.
Now it's the reverse.
Science
Yes.
not the reverse,
It's
but
all
you have
good.
perspective, and that's fine. If you want to check out that couple,
Yay.
okay.
You used to call
We have a call.
yourself.
Right.
all right.
Hold on, we about to answer it. And we're gonna put it on speaker so the TV audience can hear. Candid Conversations, what's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Alex Shante.
Oh, my director.
Come
What's
on,
up, Alex?
Alex.
Shout out. The one that everybody was shouting out, right?
That's the one everybody
Alex,
was
I
shouting
shouted
out.
you out too.
Say hello to Tabitha. She wants to fill in. So tell her
Hey,
you
sweetie, how you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you.
what you got for me, director man.
Oh, God. So y'all spent a lot of great stuff. Y'all talked about things like faith and just really like feelings and all. Just listening to the conversation, just one element I would just additionally add would be like elements of like sympathy and empathy, and then just how we relate to people. So many people are in the space of just surviving and doing what's necessary to pay bills and kind of just meet the basic needs and standards that a lot of people don't have the opportunity to even explore or sit down and say, I'm feeling this or this is what's going on and I wonder kind of what's going on, where is this coming from, or how I can use this to be creative or move past whatever, right? Like everybody's kind of operating in that particular silo, so it makes it difficult to feel like you can connect to others or people can connect to you. But it's like once you kind of start doing kind of that self-examination, I guess, or that self-reflection, you're able to kind of be able to be more empathetic to other people, to be able to really truly connect to that work. But then I think that all goes down to just, our willingness and ability to have mental wellness, which of course, y'all being in the System 3 is what I'm all about, talking about just black people, black gay men especially.
I love it. You gotta be in tune with yourself for real. I love that. He's so funny. Thank you so much for calling, my boy. I appreciate that. Have a good one.
That was good.
That is good. He's right. You gotta be able to find. That's why I'm like,
that shadow
You gotta
work.
find that shadow work, man. You gotta find yourself. You got to love yourself, man.
In your darkest days.
In your darkest days.
And that empathy also is one thing that's essential, because finding your tribe, I think an issue that a lot of us have is that we want to kind of manufacture our tribe instead of letting our tribe find us. The people that are meant to be in our lives
Say
at
that
whatever
one more
level.
time again.
But I don't even know what I said. We
You
try to
said-
manufacture our
Like big
tribe
people be.
instead of letting our tribe come to us, because the people that are supposed to be in our lives are going to be gravitating towards us. And a lot of times, and at least in my experience, sometimes I've been like, well, this ain't what I thought it would look like or what I wanted it to be, but this may be what I need.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and they're seeking me, and we're seeking each other, we're finding each other, because they have the empathy, or they have the spiritual capacity to handle it. Even in relationships, you're not going to ever be completely healed or completely ready for a relationship. But the thing is, find somebody who you can be in alignment with,
Understanding, yeah.
where your luggage and their luggage are compatible.
A matching set.
Right.
That's true. I didn't even think of it that way.
Because if you wait to be ready, you're not going to be ready. But the beautiful thing, at least what I found, is being able to have someone where what's heavy for me isn't heavy for you, and what's heavy for you isn't heavy for me, and now we can kind of maneuver together while still knowing that I have to do my own work separately, but knowing that what I'm bringing to the table isn't weighing you down,
Yeah.
and vice versa.
Yeah.
Because if you haven't dealt with your stuff, and this is what I feel like for dating and friendships, all of these relationships, it's a relationship thing where you need people who are compatible, and compatibility is not always about what your sign is or what you like to do. It's about your capacity for certain things
Yeah.
and your empathy. So when he said empathy, I was like, that's
That's so true.
that's very true.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay. What you got? Yeah, you go in. It's okay. We gonna excuse Curtis TV audience because he gotta go to the bathroom. But he gonna be back. So listen, while we're waiting on him to do what we gotta do there, I have as I was saying before we got the call, do y'all think that black men will ever have the opportunity or permission to just be themselves freely and be emotional or express emotion without judgment in the long run? Do you ever feel we'll get to a day with that will happen without being judged or being just being yourself? Because at this point, black men are putting on a facade, and I think it may be kind of opening up a little bit, but not as much, because again, we're looked on as weak or whatever if we decided to express an emotion. With somebody who expresses their emotions a lot, as you said, you kind of do that because you're layered. Do you find that you're being judged because of that as a black man, or how do you feel about that?
The truth is, I feel judged even when I may not be judged.
Okay.
Elaborate
on that for me.
There's always a bit of insecurity with how things will be perceived, which is why I'm manifesting that I don't care about certain things. But there's always a bit of insecurity about how will I be perceived? Will I be perceived as weak? Will people think that just because I have this going on or because I'm expressing one thing, what would the idea of others be? I do believe that we will become. Well, before I say that, it's funny we're having this conversation because earlier this morning I read something that said 75% of suicides come from men.
This is true. I know that for facts.
And as somebody who has been suicidal, it kind of made me, as eerie as this may sound, it made me feel like I wasn't alone.
Right.
And knowing that the things that I think and the feelings that I feel are not uncommon to my human experience, right? So I guess what I'm trying to say is the judgment that I feel, 90% I would say of that is things that I've projected onto people without even knowing what they may think or what they may feel.
Right.
Self-imposed.
Right. And I think that's something to do with our experience as men, and then even deeper as black men. Because that quote was for men in general. The black male experience is a lot more intense than just the male experience. Mm-hmm. So I've been going on this journey of trying to figure out what is it about my experience as a man that causes so much. Let's take the rubber band off. Depression and heaviness. Mm-hmm. What is it about this experience as a man? Because it doesn't necessarily make sense to me. What do you all think? And I've been going through that even in a metaphysical realm, because I understand that birth and creation, honestly, even though we reference God as the Father, creation is birthed out of feminine energy, out of the female. So why are we at 75% of suicides? Why are men walking around this earth the way that we are and feeling the way that we are, and feeling that so worthless to the point that we would take ourselves out?
Yeah. What do you think about that, coming from the perspective of having a male husband and all that stuff? Has he dealt with things like that, or have y'all had
Of
conversations
course.
about
The great thing though about my husband, I actually had an experience where he is one of the most he is one of the most confident men when it comes to showing vulnerability. Like, he would tell you quick, like, I don't care and all this other stuff. When I'm actually a little bit more reserved when it comes to that type of thing on it. So as a male though, he has told me, that sometimes he's felt, of course, growing up 80s, 90s, that whole crack epidemic and all that other stuff, the police definitely targeting.
the New Jack era?
Yeah, the New Jack era, where you were literally a target, right? Especially if you lived in the urban side of town and stuff like that. But I think, again, going back to when I was talking about the age of Aquarius, which is also known as the age of enlightenment, where you're talking about the growth of civilization, where we have expanded based on labels and things like that. And so, to answer your question directly, will black men ever be in a position to just be themselves? You have the epitome of this generation that is putting that out there in Front Street, like, I'm not going to take on all of your stuff about, this person, you gotta act like this because you are a black person, you're a male, you're a female, and things like that. And part of what's benefiting from that is being a black male, because they are shedding a lot of labels, not because, a label is bad, but just because they understand that as soon as you give me a label, you put me in that box where that's all you want me to be, is that label. And it actually born one of my favorite quotes that I learned about a year ago. And I forget the guy that said it. He's a famous poet, Rumi. And he said, when you label me, you negate all the other stuff I could be. So you just called me a girl, so now you want girls to wear pink, or, girls supposed to do this, girls supposed to do that, based on your limited definition of that. So I think that it is definitely in the happening of black men being able to express themselves without it being all of these preconceived ideas on what it should and shouldn't be.
Curtis, you need me to read?
Yes, please.
This is
Go
the
ahead,
question.
go over it so I can
Thank you to cover back.
catching the back.
Catching the back end. So the question was, will black men ever have the opportunity or permission to just be themselves, be able to express their emotions without judgment or attachment to it?
I don't know. Honestly, that goes back to our culture as a people.
Yeah.
And that's if we are all willing to accept ourselves. And if we are all going to actually, as a collective of black people, whether it's African, Jamaican, Caribbean, the London black folks, like everybody that's on other sides of the country and whatever, actually come as a unity and realize we are all black people with one common issue. Other people don't accept us for who we are. So once we accept ourselves for who we are, maybe things will be a little bit better, because they already see black men as, masculine, or, don't have as much masculinity. So they already label that as, you want to be hard, or you really soft. And that goes back to putting you in the box. Like, okay, if you see me laughing and giggling, or got like a little switch, you automatically think that he is a girl, he do this and he that, we don't mess with him, especially, the women, he ain't a girl, but you don't know what he might do, exactly, because you're looking for this masculine god that might, wop, or, have this stereotype of how black men should be.
I honestly feel like black women are the cause of this, in my opinion. If you think about it,
some part.
It plays I think it plays a large part, because again, I think me and you discussed this before. I have literally, what happened? Something going on in the I've literally, because I can't see behind me, I've literally seen my friends and their single parent mothers like literally like punching these niggas in the chest. Like, you better not flinch. You better not do this.
Can't
You better
cry.
you better not
I
cry.
can't even tell you the backstory.
Right,
Keep
so
going.
it's, like I've seen this, and I'm sitting here like, damn, that's borderline. Now back in the day, it wasn't abuse. You could literally hit your kids and get them in order, like
Yep.
yeah, hit them in the throat, take switches and fucking irons and anything else.
Extension cords.
Extension cords and throwing it like iron cords. Like I've seen this with my own eyes.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here like my cousin, she had 3 boys, and she's not here anymore, God rest her soul. But I've seen her like go in the store and touch something and see what happened, and dare somebody else to say something.
Yeah.
Is it yours? Because I can hit you just like I can hit this one if you want me to. You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of energy it is. So when you're thinking of the black male, you automatically, and you can take it back to slave times. You see just black masculine men. You can't, even when they was getting whipped and whatever, they would like literally stand there. You think about Roots and Kunta Kinte, he was like, my name is, but I'm gonna sit here and take this whooping though, you know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna see me cry. Denzel dropped a tear on Glory. But that's different, you know what I'm saying? It's like, come on man, it's like, why shouldn't you be able to? Like, do you know how much emotional damage is in the black man when they can't release how they feel? So now you got them going to do other things. They are out here drinking themselves into oblivion. They out here having sex beyond measure because they're trying to release frustration. They out
I
here.
don't know if they're doing the sex part for that. They doing that for fun.
No, I know.
I was kidding.
You know, sex is an addiction
It
now.
really
It is, but I'm saying
And I know
they
a
use it for
couple.
recreation.
I know. Well, that could be because, but I know a couple, like literally maybe a handful of dudes that literally like, I'm frustrated, bro. I need to go and that's fine. Do what you need to do. You can't work out of it, but okay, you can take that route. It's fine. So it's a little pleasure, whatever. But they're taking routes about things because they can't initially deal with the situation at hand right then. So they're having to hold it in because now they're looking at the judgment piece. And it's mostly black women. Go online and look at some of these stories and listen to these podcasts. My man can't do this, so he got to do this.
There's a backstory to that.
It
though.
really
The black
is.
woman-
It is.
Well, let's hear it though. I
Yeah.
want to hear it.
The black woman, when it came to coming, definitely focusing on the slavery part on it, the black woman actually kind of became the protector of the black male, of the sons of that, because she saw, so they had instances where they would take the male, the black male, in front of the woman and do the atrocities to her to scare her. So what happens is that she now fearing for the life of her sons. So she's gonna be more protective and raising him to be, hey, you need to be able to defend yourself, you need to be able to do all these things. So she's gonna be kind of hard on him to protect him, right? And what they were doing simultaneously was creating women. They were basically teaching women like, hey, he's not gonna be able to protect you because look what happens to him, right? So what you had was them messing with the mentality of a basic American family structure where the man is the head of the household, and the women places all this. So when they went in and basically kind of reversed that, again, I'm going to show you your man in a weak state, right? I'm going to show you need to train your girl to be strong so that they can carry on some type of family structure, not in the traditional structure though. So when you have a black female that in a lot of cases were already pregnant with one child, literally being exposed to you beating, the man of the household, and you're reducing him to basically letting me know, sending me a message that he can't protect you. He can't protect himself. I'm running this and things like that. So it created a tradition of the woman being very protective of the man, basically, trying to make sure that he was able to survive his surrounding. So yes, we played a role in it, but the whole point of us trying to play a role was from trying to protect it. And then it just kind of got out of hand after that, created Mama's Boys.
And that definitely ties into the systemic, if I'm saying that right, racism that we have had in this country, which literally speaking facts about the separation of the household and the man, but the thing about it for me is, yes, we have learned about that. Yes, you know, we come into what that is the male household, but there are no men these days that have money and have that influence and have that type of opportunity to be like, let's raise better men.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, it's just like, let me raise my boy to be the guy that he wants, you know, that I'm the masculine guy that I want him to be, instead of being like, let's bring like the community of boys up to not deal with this, to not deal with that, to not like come out this way, to not feel bad if you are, you know, gay, or to not feel like any type of way that other people already are going to judge you as, which made the women, you know, be that masculine type of thing, because they had to do the things that the other men did not want to do because of the things that they saw, or the men that they didn't want to be, or the father that they didn't want, or like those type of situations. So it led them, you know, the women in a particular situation, yes, very much so, like very much so. But
They
that,
had to adapt.
yes, and nowadays men in this time don't want to adapt anymore, because I'm not raising no weak nigga. I'm not raising no weak child. I'm not raising no weak, you know, boy. Or my daughter ain't about to be out here frolicking, and my daughter ain't about to be out here, you know, busting and stripping and da 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 da.
Right.
But you can't control
You can't
that.
control that behavior.
Humans.
You can't control what your child is, a being of its own. Whether
can
you
give
have
them some pieces,
give them
but
the open
at the end of the
availability
day,
to do what
they're gonna make their own
they're
decision.
going to make their own
What?
decision.
Regardless.
So influence them to be a better person, a better man, that know about money, that know about housing, that know about, you know, how to raise a child, that know about how to build chairs and tables in your own house, and things that are actually profit your
Right.
kid throughout generations,
Right.
instead of having, you know,
The toughest son on the block.
yeah, and the drugs and the stereotypical things, because the land is gone.
It
You know, to have ownership of something in this world and in this country is depleting.
Yeah.
So why not have a legacy for yourself and for your community and for your black people to be like, I'm leaving my name and my mark with this, instead of just individualizing what you can do for your son and your family.
Yeah. I agree.
That's also, it starts with a group of vigilant people, I believe, because even with speaking about women, it's all survival. Women have had to step up and be a little bit more dominant for survival purposes, and then that also, we're talking about us as black men don't have spaces where they feel safe or seen, because
Which
women
is
have
why
had to be.
I'm here.
Right? Which is why women have to have been more dominant. Not even surpasses our racial thing. It's a generational conditioning that dates back to even white people with feeling like estrogen and testosterone, where you having testosterone equates to dominance, whereas having estrogen equates to being submissive. And that's even why, if you look at different orientations, why there's very, very often a light that is shined upon lesbianism. There's no lesbianism does not threaten dominance at all. It doesn't threaten dominance. So those are patterns that have been conditioned from the Europeans down to slavery, down to our community, but our communities affect them more because we are already marginalized and we're already in situations where we have to fight for survival. And now, instead of fighting for survival, we start to butt heads and go against each other versus working together. But even within that, with your initial question of the topic, is that I believe that vigilant people going forth and being themselves authentically without care or judgment, or at least pushing themselves into that, kind of births new things. For example, there's been an increase in black men wearing nail polish and getting their nails done.
Oh my God, yes, I've seen
And
this.
I love it. I don't want my nails done, but I love the fact that these heterosexual identifying, I don't care what y'all know what y'all are, identifying black men are out here getting their nails done without caring, because there was once upon a time where people would look at them and call, oh, you little sissy, you getting your nails done. And now you see somebody with their nails done, oh, dang, bro, you get your nails done, all right, and they keep moving. And it takes
Not
those
my thing,
people.
but I agree.
I love
It takes those people who are going to be bold in their experience and say, okay, look, I don't care what you do. You can talk about me, but I'm going to open these doors and make it more accessible and more comfortable for other people. So with that, like you having this platform where people can come on and be vulnerable and have these conversations and spread this type of acknowledgement, it makes it common for new people coming in to say, okay, I'm not. It doesn't make me weak to talk about my feelings. It doesn't make me weak to post on Instagram that I'm having a bad day. It doesn't make me weak to do these things. So that space that you're talking about will happen. It's happening now.
Yeah.
Will it happen? Will it be fully accepted in our lifetime? I pray.
I've been here for a minute.
I pray. But the truth is that it's happening. And,
Yeah.
and we
Yeah,
have to be
there's cracks happening.
we have to be pillars in
Yeah.
that to continue to make it happen.
Yes.
It's some cracks in the foundation that's starting to come up a little bit, like spaces for men, and you know, women got everything. They got everything.
Yeah, because I always found it weird how everybody was so acceptable of women sleeping with women. And just like,
It's a double
or
standard.
kissing,
Yeah.
or just, and they straight as all outdoors. Like, I don't mess with them, I'm strictly,
I had
but
that
you out here
conversation with
eating your,
Yeah.
and you out here doing a thing, but a guy can't kiss a guy, or
Yeah.
a father can't kiss his son,
So,
or
yeah.
something, you know, like, and it's
Mhm.
like, no, it's
Yeah.
like,
I think
no,
me and,
why
I think
is that?
me and Sean and B Smooth had that conversation, which is on YouTube. You can watch that. Just look for B Smooth and Sean. We had that conversation about the double standard of it's acceptable for women to do
To
whatever
do
they want to do with each
everything.
other.
They look at women as
Yeah,
objects.
it's an object, and it's a fantasy type of an ordeal.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
like, I'm like, oh, okay.
And they don't see
then,
themselves
yeah.
into women.
Right. So it's like, oh, so that's accepted for a woman to do what she want to do with another woman. It's cool, but it's so frowned upon when you see another man showing affection to his
Affection,
child
yes.
or his partner or whomever. Like, I hug everybody.
It's just about dominance.
I hug everybody, men, women, children, and I don't care what nobody says. I'm just a natural hugger. You know what I'm saying? That's what I do. And I don't give a damn what you think about it. That's you. I gotta live this life, not you. But you have people that will be frowned upon it. You know what I'm saying? So it's weird.
Human and
It's
not
weird.
judgment, huh?
It's human.
What you were saying, that relates back to what you were saying about sex. That's why a lot of men sometimes sex is the only emotional touch that a man will get.
Ain't that
Because you
crazy?
can't get a hug from your homeboy.
Right.
Why can't you?
Because
But we
because
just
it's
are
looked
saying
down
that
upon.
that's
Yeah.
So I mean,
I
it's
hug all of my friends,
No,
and
but
they know
I guess he's
it.
saying that though.
But I get
if
what
can
you're saying
use
as
that
society.
as an
Right.
outlet, then I'm gonna go with that outlet. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And I get fun out of it too.
And with that, that's also kind of crazy because straight dudes, right, that play in the NFL or NBA or all that, they in the locker rooms
Tapping asses and everything.
seeing this,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, seeing the things and be like, yeah, you know what's going on. But if you see a gay man holding another dude's hand outside,
Yeah.
it is like turmoil. It's like, what is going
Because
on out here?
I think the straight community looks at it as a sexual. They can't get the sexual aspect out of it first. That's the first thing. When you hear gay or lesbian, you're thinking sex. You're not thinking about, oh, these people actually may have a livelihood where they want to raise children. And
religion.
But
you
we
thinking
wouldn't-
religion.
we
You
wouldn't
think about
either,
it.
though.
But that's what I'm saying. If you think about it, and if you do some reading behind it, that's the first thing that the straight community thinks. They say, oh, he's gay. It's automatically sexual. They don't go anywhere else with that first. They can't oversee you having sex with the same sex. That's what they see. That's the first thing they go to.
But I can have sex with a woman and still have a baby, and it could be our baby.
That's true.
It could, and so can
We're
my
talking
partner
about
have sex
limited
with a
view
baby,
of
and it could be
a
our
human
baby.
that
I mean,
wants to
you know.
support a narrative that goes along with what the label
Mm-hmm.
that I say.
And the box you just got confined in.
Right. So as long as you fit in that, you're fine. You can start scribbling outside, coloring outside the line what they tell your mom. Or they don't know how to follow directions.
I think that's also a history lesson that we don't have time for on today's show, because
Right.
when you look back into like the history of dominance, and even when you look at the true story of Sodom and Gomorrah, and it's all about the dominance.
The true story of Sodom.
The way that we've been conditioned not as a race or a sexuality, but as man and woman, as male and female. It's all about ownership and dominance and being able to rule and to take territory or have ownership of things. And then that one thing has been broken down over generations and through slavery and through different things in different communities into so many different things that it becomes, in my opinion, very hard to date back and try to rectify. So my focus now has been, how do we take where we are now and try to correct
translate
that?
it? Yes,
Right.
Again, because
Right.
it's been so many
people.
decades and years of this.
Hundreds of years.
So now you're trying to change. This is why some people, and we're going to close out, this is why some people, the newer generation, like, okay, let's read this. So King James wrote this, right, back for here, right? So how does I take that and apply it for here, right? So some people are really annoyed that there's not an updated version, or there's not a version that accommodates today. But I agree. You have been here so long. Now we're in a whole different place.
And that's
Now
what-
some things need to be shifted. You know what I'm
See,
saying?
that's the thing. You're right.
It gotta be
That's-
shifted.
that's
I mean, you don't have to. You have to shift
You
some
gotta
things.
evolve.
You have to evolve.
Right, because it's not like you putting out the negative
Yeah,
narrative
it's
of
just
just like
evolving.
gay,
Yeah.
this, that, everywhere. But it's open your mental capacity
Yeah.
of what's really going on
Yeah.
here, like what's and make it better instead of making it a negative.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And who are you to define what's supposed to be, the way something is supposed to be,
Right.
and I'm okay with it.
And how we
Right.
can reproduce. Like
Yeah.
there's many ways of reproducing, you know, and hey.
It's a lot, but we'll definitely have that conversation because that's something
Like part two.
Yeah, we actually
Right,
touched on
don't
it.
it?
So listen.
These guys,
I'm
especially
a-
before he get up out of
Yeah.
here.
So listen, I didn't get to my last topic, which one I should have started off with, which I feel like that was vital, but I will bring it up on another day. But that was my suicide topic. I wanted to hit that, but we'll bring that back. But I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to Tab's 2 cents because I'm over in time today. But Tab, give them another edition of the 2 cents. What we got going on today?
All right, and I'll make it quick since we have had such a great conversation. But I was just going to piggyback on when we were talking about faith, and I wanted to really kind of go into a evolved perspective of the Holy Trinity when we're talking about faith, right? So faith and the Holy Trinity, they usually go hand in hand, right? So how about we look at that Trinity as a nickname that we all love in the hood called Trey.
Okay.
All right? Everybody love Trey, right? And you know, so we're going to go
Come
with...
on, boys of the hood.
That's right, that's right. Then we're gonna go with trust, receptive, and expectant. So in your faith, I need you to have trust, I need you to be receptive, and then I need you to expect it, right? Because how you gonna have faith and talk about, I wanna get this, I wanna get that, but then you don't trust it, you're not open to it, being receptive to it, and you don't even expect it.
Oh,
How does that
we're
work?
doing TRE, not TREY. We're doing TRE.
Right, we're just
okay.
doing TRE, the
TRE
short version,
Trey,
because you know
okay.
how we'll shorten everything.
Yeah.
Give us
Apostrophe.
3 letters, we'll shorten it to 2. So with that, just kind of keep in mind when you're talking about your, your level of faith on it, do you trust it?
Mm-hmm.
Are you open to it or receptive to it, right? And do you expect it? Do you expect to get what you ask for? Because a lot of times you get what you asked for, but you weren't expecting it, so you don't recognize it,
Mm-hmm.
right? So be in the mode of the Trey. Let's put that faith in the Trey mode. Let's trust it. Let's be receptive to it, and let's expect it. And watch all those beige cards you see. And that's Tab's 2 cents for this Saturday.
Okay. Thank you, Tab's 2 cents for this Saturday. You have the Trey perspective. Okay. Utilize that in your everyday if you have to. You know what I'm saying? Tab, when we coming back on air?
We will be back Wednesday from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yes. So if you want to watch this episode, it will be on demand on Cluster TV. So fellas, if you want to go back and watch yourself, or you want to share it with somebody, just tell them to download the app. Go listen to it because you guys have given such great knowledge today. And I think people need to hear what y'all have had to say. Doesn't matter where it is, doesn't matter who needs to hear it, they need to hear it because that's what the platform is for. You know what I'm saying? So listen, we'll be back. As she stated, you can listen to us this coming Wednesday. If you want to download the app, what would they need to do for that?
Go to ATL Talks and download us at iHeart, Google, or your Apple store.
Yes, and I just downloaded actually a couple of more episodes of Candid Conversations
Upload.
visually. Upload, download, hell, you know it's something.
Some kind of logo.
Some-
That's all right.
I uploaded some more of the show on YouTube. So just go ahead, like, subscribe, comment, and turn on your notification bell for the newer episodes. I just did 2. I got 1 more today.
Okay.
Probably 2 more today.
Level up.
Yes, so I'm trying to keep visuals because some people can't really sit still and listen. Some people are visual creatures, so I'm putting the visual out there if I can. I'm gonna try to have this one up there too because I really wanted to film this episode and I didn't set my camera up like an idiot. But that's okay. Believe it or not, gentlemen, y'all have helped me today, and lady, y'all have helped me today reevaluate some stuff. So I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. You learned something here, okay?
Love it. You do.
So listen, in the great words of Jerry Springer, with a little touch of G, take care of yourselves and each other. But put your damn self first. Fix your house first. Clean your house, wipe your glasses, do what you gotta do to get yourself right. And like my boy said, you might not 100% get yourself clean, at least do 80.
Get on the journey at least.
Get on the
Yes.
journey. Start yourself on the journey. You know what I'm saying? So that is very vital to your health. So again, take care of yourselves, each other, your damn self, and protect your mental energy and surround yourself with like-minded, positive individuals. Do that for me. Don't let everybody in space. Everybody don't deserve you. Okay? Until next time, we gonna holler at you, baby.